Good morning, everyone. Today is March 8, around 10:46 in the morning, Thursday. Last night, I have a conference, a lot of people. Wilhelmina is not an agency. Wilhelmina is not a broker. Wilhelmina is not a solicitor or lawyer. Wilhelmina is a seller's mandate who handle marketing, sales globally. We are now on the internet superhighway. Everyone can search on available products like groceries, insurance, funeral arrangement, property, anything, because we are now on the modern technology. So Wilhelmina is the one who launched this live video and virtual page on Facebook. I have a very huge virtual page on Facebook. Now, after you listen to this explanation, you click on the bottom, you can see gold and diamond on my virtual page. Now this video is the answer of that buyer's question. Now that buyer, he is in Bamako, Mali, and he couldn't get the gold. So he was thinking that he traveled to Bamako. He's thinking that he can get gold and sell it to KMR. So I said during my conversation, I said, oh, I'm not going to mention his name because you know, Wilhelmina, if I mention your name, you're going to be all over the world. Right. So I said to this particular buyer, how long you've been in Bamako? So 2 weeks. How many people you've been talking? Lots. And did you get the gold? No, Wilhelmina, there's a lot of scammer. Aha. So I said to him, do you know the meaning of scam? On the old version, the meaning of scam is lie, deceive, manipulate. You are one of the scammer. And both of you, buyers and seller. Because the seller trying to cheat you as well. And you are also trying to cheat. So both of you are scammer. That's what I told him. So he was not realizing that I'm very, very blunt. I have to do it so that you will understand that gold is not for credit. Gold is not CIF cost insurance and freight only. Nah. Gold is not for SBLC. No. So I'm going to explain to this particular buyer so that everyone knows. So I'm going to share this with you guys so that you will understand that when you travel to Africa, whether you travel to Ghana, Sierra Leone, Cameroon, Tanzania, Kenya, Conakry, exactly the same. Exactly the same. There is no difference. The gold has a face value. The gold has a VAT, valued added tax, and the export tax. So you are not paying the taxes, the seller does. But the seller would not sell his gold very cheap because the price is already on the tax. Now, may I explain to you thoroughly? This buyer has been in Bamako on the ground for 2 weeks. He couldn't find the gold. So he saw me. I think he was window shopping, and he searched gold and my name pop up and my video pop up on YouTube. So at least he saw Wilhelmina, this beautiful lady based in Australia. I'm Australian citizen, so I'm not African. So I said to him, so therefore you have been cheated yourself. You are cheating yourself thinking you can get the gold. And he said, yes, madam, I didn't realize. So now you pay the price. So yes, can you help me, madam? Oh, I can help you, provided you meet the criteria. And I told this buyer, how did you find Wilhelmina? Oh, madam, I did read your Facebook. Okay. What did you learn out of my Facebook on Bamako Mali? Yes, very, very extensive, and everything is in there. And then, what would be the next? And what can I do for you? So, madam, can you help me? I said, yeah, I can help you. That's why I'm here. I am here, the servant of the day for you. But gold is not for credit. And he said to me, I'm here to bring the gold. I open my account to KMR, but I'm going to resell the gold to KMR. Oh my gosh. So I said to him, I think you've got the wrong perception. As a gold trader, because you're going to smelt the gold to gold bullion. Is that correct? So he said yes. So as a gold trader, you open an account to any refinery because you are going to use their facilities. That is normal. So the application, because I know KMR, because I called the director, what necessary requirement as a gold trader to open the facility. You apply for refinery, right? Refinery account. But he has not yet approved, because when you apply for a refinery account, you will be asked who is the seller, who is the supplier. You're going to be asked the seller's mining license, the export license, and the business registration. So that particular buyer is stranded. And he wanted to get the gold, bring it to KMR. It wouldn't work at all. So what I have done last night, I said to this buyer, I can solve your problem very simple. You are now on the ground. I want you to convince Wilhelmina to send me your company corporate letterhead stating how many quantity you need and what are you intend to use. Because we don't know what you are going to use, because the gold has an impurity. The impurity means there is a chemical element on the gold. When you re-smelt it, the gold will shrink. This is what my explanation. But that buyer and that seller that he was dealing wasn't even aware. So when I explained to him last night, he was surprised of my knowledge. I said to him, you're a trader, you should know that. Your buyer is a refinery. The refinery will refine the gold. Whether he's going to make it into jewelry or gold bullion, there is a certain measurement on the gold bar. Right. So, during my conversation with him, and he said to me, he's going to make into gold bullion with is 99.99. I told him that, yes, we can provide that in Bamako. However, because you are buying a dory bar, that is a raw materials, that 1,000 gram, when you bring that to KMR, would no longer be 1,000 gram. Because you ask me to sell you the gold to make into 99.99, which is already refined. So KMR will refine the gold, and then they're gonna put hallmark and serial number, because they are the only refinery who can smelt the gold, because they have a license to smelt into gold bullion. They are the only refinery in West Africa, which is I told the buyer last night. So the buyer was surprised of my knowledge, and I told this buyer that I did made a phone calls direct to the refinery. I was talking to a director, asking questions so that I could share it to everyone. Now, so this buyer, he doesn't know what he's doing. So my advice to him, it's better you ask the gold to the government refinery. Okay, I give the buyers the refinery website and number so that he can contact the government refinery, because there is a cost. To smelt the gold to any refinery, the cost is $50 because you are going to use their facility. So you have to pay $50 per kilo to that particular refinery. So he was surprised because he doesn't have the money. So now, during my conversation, and I told him, you are just wasting your time, because I'm not going to deal with you because you don't meet the criteria. And he said to me, what is your seller's criteria? It's very simple. Send me your full corporate letterhead stating what you want, because we don't know you and you don't know us. So therefore, let us interview each other. I am the one who will screen you guys. I'm the one who will validate you before my seller would proceed the contract. Because when I forwarded the full corporate letterhead of your company that you're a buyer, then I'm going to advise the seller, let us proceed, because I had already interviewed this particular buyer. But this particular buyer, I'm also hesitant. So he said to me that in Africa, there's a lot of scammer. Well, Africa is a huge continent. They produce gold and diamond, coffee, gas, etc. But because you are a small timer, you are cutting corner. Scam stands for, the meaning of real scam is lie, deceive, manipulate. So you are part of the scam network. Both of you, this small seller that have no license to sell, he wanted to sell his gold cash. So therefore you were being tempted to grab it, but you have no idea on that gold there is VAT. So that particular seller that he's selling to this buyer and a very cheap, there was no tax on that. So when you declare that, when that particular seller declare that, that particular seller has no license. So therefore, that particular seller is illegal. They have the gold because the land is plenty of gold. Right. So that particular seller wanted to sell cash. Yes. But the real seller would not sell his gold cheap because that particular seller of mine, he has an overhead. He has worker to pay. And he has to rent an excavator. He has an overhead on his office. He has to pay the insurance of his company. So therefore, the real seller would not sell his gold very cheap because that gold has a value on it. There is a value added tax and export tax. So you are not paying the taxes. The tax is already on that gold, which I explained to the buyer. Even though there is a tax, the tax on every bar is 2,500. It depends on each country how much their taxes of that particular country. Now I'm talking to Bamako Mali. The tax in every bar is 2,500, sometimes 3,000 because it depends on yearly. So the government implementing that all miners has to pay valued added tax on that particular product. And when the seller export it, the seller also pay insurance for that and the export tax and the shipment cost. So you buyer asking for CIF, who is going to pay for that shipment cost? So therefore you don't have the money, I told this particular buyer. So at the end of my conversation, he is only a joker. He is working for his buyer. His buyer is paying him to travel very handsomely and he deceive his buyer. So that is the reason why he come to Wilhelmina. Because he was listening on my YouTube, still that particular fake buyer didn't digest what I had explained. So now this video, this is for particular for Bamako Mali. Now, this is how you guys to buy gold. This is how you are going to buy gold properly in any country in Africa. You need to send a full corporate letter of intent from your company that you are really a buyer. You don't need to deal with chain of brokers. So what happened now? This buyer, he paid his broker to travel to Bamako. They failed. So that particular broker, he said to me he's a buyer. When I screen him, when I interrogate him, suddenly he slapped on his tongue that he is working for the buyer. That his buyer is buying gold and instructed him to bring to KMR. I said, wrong. So you did not really pay attention. If you saw my YouTube video and if you saw the full corporate offer on Bamako page, therefore you should understand that gold is not really CIF and gold will not bring to KMR. Now what I have done to him last night, I told him, convince me that your buyer is really had a proof of fund, bank statement. And then I want the buyer to send me his full corporate letter of intent. How many quantity he needs, carats and the purity, because we don't know your buyer. And he said, really? How about my commission, Wilhelmina? Wow. So now he's telling the truth. So I told him, if you're working for the buyer, so therefore your buyer is paying you because your buyer already paid your trip. So why are you going to ask for commission? So that particular fake buyer is a scammer. Because if he's not a scammer, he would not ask his commission. Because the buyer already paid him to travel to Bamako. Now he didn't get the gold. So he asked, how about my commission? And I told him, oh, what do you mean your commission? Your buyers already paid your trip, so therefore you are charging your buyer. And I work for the seller. The seller is paying for my work. That is why I launched this, because so that we can get the real buyer and we don't deal with jokers, buyer, joker, broker. So I said to him, while you are talking to Wilhelmina, I would like to advise you, go back to your buyer, and I want you to convince me that you are really such a real buyer on behalf of your buyer. And we give the buyer discount. Our selling price, tax inclusive, based on the world market. This is what I have done last night. We give the buyer on 1,000 kilograms of 10%, because the buyer needs as well profit margin. So when the buyer resell it to jewelry manufacturer, the jewelry manufacturer will pay based on the world market. On the 22 carats, the jewelry manufacturer will buy 41,000. Yes, per gram. So in 1 kilograms, you multiply that, yeah, in 1,000 gram. It is 41,000. The jewelry manufacturer will buy that. So we are giving you, this is what I said, we are giving the buyer less 10%, which is, now I look at on the price today. Yeah, today is March 8, 42,000, 623.29. We give you, as a buyer, I told him, we give the buyer a discount, 10 to 11% maximum. So let's say I will give you 11%. 11% minus 42,000, 623.29. Our selling price is 37,934 per kilo. So I said to him, don't bank on the price, because the price, it varies days to day. So yesterday, the price of gold was 42,800. That was March 7. Today is March 8 in the morning. In Australia, I'm based in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. So the gold is down a little bit. So 42,623.29. So I told this buyer, I told this broker, once the buyer sign a contract, immediately we fix the price, no matter what. Whatever the signing of the contract, whether the gold increase or decrease, right? The price is fixed. So I told him, we can give you 37. All right, remove the 934. Then suddenly his eyes is bigger than $1. He said, how about my commission? What do you mean your commission? You travel already on Mali, and your buyer, you paid your buyer paying you. And I asked him, be honest with me, how much buyer give you the money? The buyer give him $100,000. I said, wow, $100,000, you can buy 2 kilos of gold, cash. And where is the $100,000? And he spent it, because to stay in the hotel, 5-star hotel, it's really very expensive. 5-star hotel, they charge you $450 a day, plus food, tax, and etc. So he couldn't tell his buyer, because his buyer expect him to buy gold, bring it to KMR and refine it to gold bullion. So he cannot tell the truth. So he come to Wilhelmina. So I have to share this with you guys, so that you brokers, you are also crook. You are the one who ruined the image of Africa. And also buyer is crook. So that 100,000, you can buy 2 kilos of gold. Because I can give you 37, okay, 37,000 times 2, that is 74,000. Out of $100,000, there is money on that, but the broker already spent the money. So that is the reason why I am sending this very, very shocking message. Because buyer thinking that the seller is a scammer. Yes, there is also a seller that will going to cheat you. Both of you are cheater. Buyer looking for cheap price and the seller will sell you cheap price. But the seller would not tell you the real government regulation. They can sell it to you cash, but how are you able to get the gold without paperwork? The real seller would not sell the gold to you to bring the KMR. You need to acid the gold first to the government laboratory in order for you to get the carats and the purity. Then when you see the acid report, that is the time you pay the gold. For example, you are going to buy 10 kilos. I'm giving you 37,000 times 10 kilos. That is 370,000. Right? So, let's do the calculation. The 370,000, this is 10 kilos. 370,000, tax already there. Tax enclosed. So when you transfer the payment bank to bank, it would take 3 working days from your bank to the seller's bank. Right? So you have to wait for 3 working days. So when your payment will be cleared, right? Then that is the time the seller will secure export documentation. The seller will declare that to his government that he's going to export to you because you already signed a contract and then you already paid the gold 10 kilos, the value of 370,000. Now, after 3 working days, the seller will provide you commercial invoice, attestation, gold is free of illegal activities, custom clearance, and the proof of gold, airway bill, okay, and the shipment cost. So now, this is how you're gonna do it properly. And if you're gonna say bring the gold to KMR, it wouldn't work because the seller would not deal with KMR because that is a competition. KMR is a private refinery. They are also a buyer. They own a mining concession as well in Bamako. And they were being given tax incentive by the government. That is why they create employment. That is why they are there. Their refinery is 100 meters away from international airport. They are the biggest refinery in West Africa. They have a big investment in Bamako. So you're gonna say Bamako is full of scam? No, I don't think so. There is one mining company from Perth. They are in Bamako, mining gold. Their investors are the bank. Exactly the same as KMR. They have a big investors, a group of investors invested into gold. That is why KMR is there. Right? And you are a small timer trying to cut corner and then you accuse scam. You are one of the scammer because gold is money to them. I work for the seller. I'm sharing you this vital information. It's free. But I always say, if you are a real buyer, you don't need a chain of broker. You come with Wilhelmina, you only pay Wilhelmina her trip, hotel accommodation, airfare, and a little bit of spending money, rather than paying 100,000 to a broker. That broker doesn't know what he's doing. And Wilhelmina knows what she's doing because my seller is a real, and my seller been in gold business for 21 years. We have tons of gold. Whether Conakry, whether in Mali, just tell me. I will help you. But my extra service is not for free. You can afford to pay your broker. You can afford to pay 90,000 to 100,000. I only charge you to supervise you so that everything will running smoothly. What is airfare hotel accommodation? Because I'm charging you really my extra service. Yeah. I charge $10,000 once only. I don't even ask your commission. Ah, because I work for the seller. I only charge you extra. And if you don't want to pay my extra, you can travel and I will arrange, do the contract. I will advise you online. But if there is an issue, do not come back to Wilhelmina because my video is very clear. If you want to have a real business, you need Wilhelmina, I will be with you. Why? Because African is also fickle-minded. They will change their mind. But if I am there, I will educate my seller. And if my seller will muck around with you, I can find a backup. Because there's so many sellers in Bamako as well, hungry to sell their gold. Right? So I am with you, both buyers and seller. So the seller would not muck around with you because I'm on the ground with you. And I will arrive the day before you arrive. So you are really safe. Right? Because Wilhelmina will do the meeting on the board office that, hey, we have the buyer coming. Let us handle this properly. Let us do business straightforward. And I will also visit the government refinery to make sure that the gold is really properly assay. Why? Because the gold will shrink. And during the assay, that you were given 22 carats, right? 22.52, and the purity is 94.95. We don't know what you are going to use. So that is the reason why I'm asking, what are you intend to use? Because if you're going to say, well, Amina, we will refine the gold into 99.99. Therefore, the price is different. Because we will provide you extra gram on 1 kilo. So, on 1 kilo is 1.3 kilograms. If you are making 99.99, which is 24 carats. Yes? So then, when I be on the office, I will instruct the seller to smelt the dust gold to measure into 1.3 in order to make a 99.99. Then you can bring it to KMR. Because I know the KMR, he told me that when the gold will refine, the gold will shrink. It's 100%. 100%. Because there is a chemical impurity there. But you, buyer, have no idea. Brokers would not tell you that, oh, I was being cheated. No, you were not being cheated. You were not. The seller doesn't know that his gold has an impurity. He doesn't know. I know that because I was being a victim before, and the seller as well, and I was being accused that we are a scammer. We didn't scam anybody. I didn't even receive any single cents. So don't cheat yourself this time because I am exposing the real thing. After my trip, I went to West Africa. Right. So this is for your own benefit. You are a winner watching this lady. You win $1 million because you're going to be aware that gold is not CIF either. Right. So go back to this buyer. And I told him, you need to pay first the gold. After the ASI from the government refinery, you pay the gold. You transfer the payment 370,000. Then after the clearance of your payment, you can bring it to KMR because the seller will give you paperwork. Without paperwork that you bring it to KMR, you're going to be arrested as a thief. They can accuse you. So do not bring the gold to KMR without any paperwork. Because the seller can call the police that you are a thief. You know, the seller changed their mind. That is the reason why I encourage you. You need Wilhelmina. Because if the seller mucking around with you, I will also call the police that my seller is mucking around. And if you are making around, I will also call the police to arrest you. So that is the reason why I said to everyone, you need Wilhelmina. If you don't want to pay my extra service, you can travel. But if there is a problem, don't ask Wilhelmina. Don't come back to Wilhelmina because I'm not responsible. I am only giving you the free service. And if you fail because you are greedy, then you pay the price. This is what these fake buyers are paying, the price on the ground. So I hope you understand what I'm saying here. So don't say that Africa is scam. You are the scammer. You are a buyer or the scammer. Why? Because your eyes is bigger than a dollar. You want to cut corner. You want to get handsome profit. You will get the profit, but fair is fair. If you want a real business, you do the proper business. I can ask my seller to give you 11% out of 10%. If it's a long term, the hardest one is the first trial. The hardest one because you don't know how much the gold will shrink. But on the second shipment, you're gonna be happy because you're gonna be satisfied. Yes, you need to have a very good person that who can explain, who can guide you. Your broker doesn't care for you. They only think how much commission they're gonna get. Can you imagine when I interviewed these fake buyers? He said he's a buyer. And then when I interrogated him, middle of my conversation, he said he has a buyer. I said, what kind of he has a buyer? You have a buyer. Tell me, what is your position? He said, I am a buyer's mandate. Aha. So how long you've been in Bamako? 2 weeks. Did you get the gold? No. See? Can you see my explanation to you here? And I'm very, very straightforward. That is why most of the fake buyers are scared with Wilhelmina. You don't need to be scared. This is a real business. If you want a gold, there is a gold. If you want a rough diamond, there is a rough diamond. But if you cut corner because of profit, then you're a smuggler. Then you're a thief. Then you're a scammer. People say, oh, Wilhelmina is a scammer. I don't know. You don't know the meaning of scam. I will give you the real answer. What is the meaning of scam? Lie, manipulate, deceive. You are deceiving yourself. You are. And also, the fake seller, they're also deceiving you, offering you a cheap price. But the seller wouldn't tell that there is a VAT value. Here in Australia, everything, every time I buy, I have to pay taxes, right? So I hope you understand what I'm saying now. Thank you very much and have a pleasant good morning.